Audio Jungle.
Today, education is the most powerful tool we have to break that cycle of poverty and reduce inequality. Thank you for the facts and figures. 273 million children around the world are not in school today. It opens the door to opportunity when we think about education and all those that don't have it. It builds confidence, and think of 273 million lives that don't have this, and gives individuals the ability to shape their own future. So thank you for bringing up how important it is, education, when it comes to eradicating poverty. When education is accessible and equitable, it just doesn't change lives, it transforms families, it strengthens their communities, and it builds more just societies. So we now welcome a distinguished leader who spans her work between sustainability, finance, and global development. Dr. Shainul Banji brings deep expertise in governance, economic systems, and responsible leadership, contributing to initiatives that drive inclusive and sustainable growth across all regions. Her perspective bridges policy, business, and long-term impact. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Shainul Banji. Doctor, the virtual podium is all yours.
Thank you. Peace greetings to all present here. Please allow me to switch off my camera due to low internet connectivity and worse, the camera lens is broken. May I first and foremost thank Advocate Piyush sir and Dr. Virginia of World Education Policy and the International Internship University leadership to provide me such a good opportunity to express my views on the education sector and humbly contribute towards the enhancing of SDG 4. I would like to commence my talk on how can international collaborations strengthen educational leadership capacity across regions. Global collaboration in education matters today more than ever before. In today's interconnected world, global collaboration in education is no longer optional, but it's essential. With rapid technological advancements, evolving students' needs, and shared global challenges, educators and policymakers must work together across borders, building partnerships, exchanging innovative ideas, and fostering cultural understanding are vital to prepare learners for a truly global future. Strategic international collaborations can strengthen educational leadership as it drives the institutions towards achieving the vision of world class education. The international collaboration efforts are not only aimed at improving global ranking, but, but also at enhancing the internal capacity of the academic and administrative systems. Such commitment underscores the essential role of visionary leadership in driving sustainable internationalization. Education is the foundation of progress, but challenges like digital inequality, climate change, and skill gaps cannot be solved by one country only. By working together, nations can share best practices, introduce innovative teaching methods, and ensure that learning is more inclusive and equitable. Collaboration also nurtures global citizenship among students, helping them develop cross cultural understanding and skills required for the 21st century. Today, more than ever, collaborative platforms are helping students and schools to adapt to new realities while shaping a future-ready generation. The institutions can launch a roadmap for academic reform that incorporates international standards, interdisciplinary approaches, and digital innovation. Leadership can also actively promote digital transformation as a key pillar of educational modernization. The leadership understands that digitalization is no longer optional but a prerequisite for a global competitiveness in higher education. Investment in learning management systems, digital classrooms, online course offerings, and research repositories is also important. Now, let me elaborate why does digital education collaboration or partnerships matter today? With each passing hour and day, the world we know it is growing more interconnected through digital technology and global mobility. Consequently, international education partnerships have evolved from being an academic trade into a critical strategy for expanding access to quality learning opportunities. As institutions face increasing demands for innovation, inclusivity, and global relevance, cross border collaboration provides the tools and talent needed to thrive. For an example, platforms like EduTech Business Advisory are at the heart of this transformation. By partnering with local and international institutions, EduTech helps make higher education more accessible through student recruitment, digital learning, and capacity building for educators. According to UNESCO's Education Collaboration Report, global academic partnerships are not just about knowledge exchange, they also drive social impact, build institutional resilience, and expand education equity. These partnerships are also important. They empower students by exposing them to a wide range of perspectives, curricula, and experiences that are not always available within the home institutions, ultimately preparing them for success in a global competitive workforce. Let's see what are the benefits of global academic collaboration. Global academic collaboration to international education partnerships unlocks wide reaching benefits for both students and institutions. Through one, cultural exchange and diversity, two, shared research and innovation, three, improved teaching standards. Here I mean collaborative training programs for educators, 11 pedagogy, and curriculum delivery. These experiences are further enhanced through collaborative online learning, enabling faculty to co-develop and deliver global courseware. I believe my time is up, so I will not talk much. I would like to sum up by stating that a multi-stakeholder alliance for driving synergistic collaboration or partnerships for digital transformation in education is very essential. Focus should be made on the three pillars: coordination, cost, and data to support the holistic strategies. I would like to end here. Thank you for listening to me so attentively.
Thank you so much, Dr. Shainul Banji. We made it, I hope, before your prayer time. Thank you for your insightful information. And I think that's something that we could highlight right now. We've talked about it a few times now, but I think that you've made a very big invite to collaborate. It's the key to real lasting change. Because the challenges we face many times are too complex for one person or one group or even one country to solve alone. When we come together, we combine ideas, we combine resources and perspectives, turning individual efforts into collective impact. And that's exactly what we're inviting today. We want to make sure that global collaboration is something that we're just not saying through words, but that we're actually going to make it happen. I know you want to add something, Dr. Banji?
Yes, what you say is very true, and I fully support you. And you are one of the best examples.
Thank you. Thank you. Very, very insightful. And I thank you for waiting. And I thank every single one of our speakers. Usually these conferences become long, but they're so important because there's so much information. And we try to squeeze everything that we know and our expertise and our perspectives in 10 minutes. So I appreciate the effort and I value your time. I know it is a gift to us and to all of those that follow us. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. I want to see who is iPhone Stella? Is this somebody that has not spoken yet before I invite our IIU core members? I don't see the name or a picture, so I don't really know who it is. So if this is you, let me know. I would also like to know if Dr. Shruti Kulkarni and Professor Charles are by their mics and their cameras, so we can invite them forward before we finish with Dr. Srividhya. Dr. Shruti, Dr. Charles, Professor Charles, we welcome you and please join us in the virtual podium. Dr. Charles and Professor Charles is our Vice Chancellor at IIU, and it's a pleasure for you to address us. The virtual podium is all yours.
Thank you very much, my able Excellency. Good afternoon, good morning, and good evening, all our colleagues and great speakers. The President, World Education Policy IIU Representative, Dr. Virginia Rivari, the Global Convener, Founder IIU, Sir Advocate Piyush Pandey, Andrea Da Sila, the World Education Policy Board Director, the Chief Guests of Honor, Amma Shadan, and also Dr. Srividhya Kulkarni, one of our IIU core educator. It's an opportunity given to me to showcase IIU as regards the events. Global education at a turning point from crisis to collective action. Through the word of God involves shifting from fear to faith, leveraging unity, and engaging in purposeful action to achieve transformation. This brings about faster, more effective responses by pooling resources, sharing burdens, and leveraging diverse expertise to address complex problems that single actors cannot handle alone. It has also streamlined decision-making processes, allowing various parties to a common agenda and shared measurement system for faster, more effective action. Well understood that education grounded in humanity creates leaders who transform society because it brings about shifting the focus from purely transactional technical skill to people-centric, values-driven, and ethical leadership. This approach nurtures leaders who possess empathy, self-awareness, and a strong moral compass, allowing them to foster trust, collaboration, and social justice. Humanistic education often incorporating literature, arts, and history, allow potential leaders to experience diverse human perspectives. This cultivates emotional intelligence and the ability to connect with people from different backgrounds. Leaders with high empathy build trust, foster inclusive environment, and understand the real world irrespective of their decision on marginalized communities. It gives room for ethical decision making rather than focusing solely on profit or efficiency. Humanitic education nurtures a moral compass. It encourages the exploration of values like integrity and compassion and justice. These leaders are more likely to implement transparent practice, tackle corruption, and prioritize doing the right thing over quick wins. Leaders can identify root causes of social problems like poverty and conflict rather than merely treating symptoms, leading to sustainable societal transformation when developing critical thinking and system understanding. Leaders empower others to reach their fully potential, challenging ineffective traditional norms and fostering innovation by creating space where people feel valued when nurturing visionary and collaborative leadership. Leaders educated in this manner of instilling a sense of global citizenship and responsibility are proactive in advocating for social justice, climate resilience, and equitable development, ensuring that their work contributes to the common good. Leaders who are self-awareness are more authentic, humble, and able to inspire others through their commitment to personal growth and services. By integrating these humanity principles, education transforms followers into leaders who are not just competent administrators, but active agents of positive social change. Building the gap between a sustainable development goal for SDG 4 is ensuring inclusive, equitable, and quality education. This requires collective action from all sectors to navigate ongoing educational crises. Note, worth knowing the need to addressing the key gaps, inclusive data system, gender equality. There is need to embedding gender equality in policy to ensure girls in crisis contexts are not left behind. Inclusive data system is very paramount. Strengthening education data system to be age, gender, and diversity responsive to identify the most vulnerable, including internal displaced persons. In conclusion, it is always good we focus on learning. By the time we learn, we are growing, we are building a good society, we are building the nation. And also, it's also good to have massive collaboration. When we have massive understanding, it becomes very easy. We're able to share our differences, building partnership and solution. By the time partnerships are built, solution will be very easy. We have from different areas. Crisis resilience is always good to, when there is any resilience, when there is any test, when a crisis, by the time you are able, you are solid in whatever form you are doing, you'll be able to stand the test of time. Policy for action, just like I said, yes, it's always good to take action. By the time we are taking action, we form policies, and forming policies makes the global world to be solid, and teachers should be empowered. Empowering teachers make the work easier. it's always good also to go digital and green. By the time we go digital, everybody's aware of it, and it makes it easy, make it simple. Increasing financing and investing in earlier childhood, very good. By the time we start investing on our children, I am telling you, at the end of the period, our children will be meaningful to the society and meaningful to us. Being committed globally, it's always good to be committed. By the time we are committed, we see that things will be easier and we'll be able to actualize our dream. Uniting our voice together, that's why we are here today. Our voice will come together. By the time our voice come together, we now that we see that we are inspiring changes and we are building a better future for all. Focusing on 2030 SDG target is very paramount. By the time we all focus on it, just as I said earlier, we found out that things will be easy and we'll be able to actualize it. May God continue to bless us, bless the WEP for this great opportunity, bless IIU, bless all those that contributed to this great occasion. Thank you very much, IIU. Thank you very well, WEP. May God bless you all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Professor Charles, our Vice Chancellor of IIU, for your insightful and impactful contribution. Your leadership, as usual, and your perspective on education and humanity truly enrich this global conversation. So thank you again. We now welcome a global education leader coming to us from Lebanon. She is not with us because she has been evacuated, but we do have a video. Layal Gadar is the founder of Layal Global Innovative Learning Hub and a strong advocate for inclusive, innovative, and accessible education. Her work reflects resiliency, leadership, especially in regions navigating instability and change, where education must continue to evolve and adapt. So please join me in thanking Maha Shadeh, who was with us earlier, sharing one of that she has brought to our great IIU. Thank you, Maha, for taking the time and helping us with this. The truth is that Layal was ready to be with us, but 10 minutes before we started, she was advised that she needed to move, so she created this video.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. We are living in a time where education stands at a critical point. Around the world, conflicts, whether conflict, economic instability, technological disruption, or even global health challenges have not only exposed the fragility of our education systems, but also their deep and
Video is not running.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. What did you say? I think we lost Maha. We'll try to do it again. We will try to do this again. Okay, Dr. Shruti Kulkarni is an IIU core team member. Dr. Shruti Kulkarni, if you can join us. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to one and all on this today. It's a wonderful platform of our global education as a turning points from a crisis to, to collective effort. So being education is, I feel that this is very important to us to, and very prior and basic responsibility on us being an educationist to reach education to each and every children in the world. And IIU is the but obviously a great platform to reach in each single child in the worldwide. So I would like to start with as usual, a gratitude to my mentor and founder of Advocate Piyush Pandit sir, Virginia ma'am, and everyone over here. So on today's platform, many of our dignitaries are already put their thoughts, and everyone expressed their all thoughts regarding education. and with the collaboration, how can we go ahead with? So IIU provide you such a wonderful platform here, and on behalf of IIU team member, I always welcome to all of you to please come gather and take initiative, and please let's do something which is definitely help and change the world. And not only with the system of education, but we need to take initiative to build a strong education system which is I think inclusive as well as adaptive, and again a human centered, because now we are in a digital era, and definitely this is advantage for us, because sitting at our home we can reach to everywhere in the world. So this is again a big advantage, and I think this is we have a very good weapon as educationist to reach each and every children as a soldier. So I would like to thank you so much for providing me such a wonderful opportunity to put my thought here. And thank you so much, Virginia ma'am. Thank you so much, Advocate Piyush Pandit sir, for providing me such a wonderful initiative. And I, really request to all of educationists, all the professional, and again, World Education Policy founder, whoever here. So definitely, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for the work that you do every day. Thank you for your words, and thank you for always supporting us, being such an important part of IIU. So now, I would like to welcome a distinguished leader joining us from the United Arab Emirates. Dr. Srividhya Sukumar brings a wealth of experience in education, leadership, and global collaboration, contributing to initiatives that drive innovation and meaningful impact across all sectors. Her work reflects a strong commitment to advancing education as a tool for empowerment and progress. Please join me now in welcoming Dr. Srividhya Sukumar. Dr. Srividhya, the virtual podium is all yours.
Thank you, Dr. Virginia. It's always a wonderful pleasure. And I really await, I don't know why, but I really await for an opportunity to join IIU every now and then. Thank you so much. Because, am I audible? Yes, okay. Yeah. Great minds think alike. So that's the basic thing. And today's topic is such a dearmost topic to each and every one of us, I would tell you. Like talking about education, I think we can talk for hours and hours. And this, anyway, we have a timeline of 2 hours. We are not going to stick to it. And that too with Dr. Virginia is very adaptable and compatible enough. And she's a person known for empathy. And with that, like she always gives her own time, and always she puts others first, such that, and she takes it forward. Thank you, Dr. Virginia. Really commendable indeed. And thank you, Dr. Shruti, for being such a sport, and also Dr. Maha. Well, it's a pleasure to have you here. And you're welcome. As we all know, today, why is it so dear to us? Because education is simply the soul of a society as it passes from one generation to another. It's reflecting generations, and we are taking it forward. And we are given as a trailblazers or trendsetters, whichever way that we want to call ourselves as leaders, most responsible, caring citizens who are contributing to the world. We have not given the mantle. We have taken the mantle to take it forward to the other generation. And in that, it's like it really amuses our minds. And when we talk about this and how to do it, how to take it forward, because as we all know, the goal of education is just not to increase the number or the amount of knowledge, which is just humongous and which is just being there in the internet, which is just flooding the internet like anything, but to create the possibilities for a child, for that child. Every child matters here, for each and every child to invent and discover themselves, and to create a space, as Dr. Virginia was mentioning, to create the environment for them to explore themselves, to discover themselves, to invent themselves, to be capable of doing new things, such that they are not left out for the 4.0 or 5.0 that we are calling it. So this global education definitely is a turning point from crisis to collective action. It's a very beautiful topic, as we all know. And what does it really focus on, this global education? 3 words. Very simply, 3 words: resilience, equity, and inclusion or inclusive systems. that will adapt to the rapid digitalization. As I told you, no one should be left out of this digitalization because this is going to rule the world, which will adapt, this global education will adapt to the rapid digitalization and the inequality which is just prevailing with the crises, different crises which are coming up as threats which are there, the hazards which are there, like pandemics and climatic change, everything. So we are more adaptable enough and we are able to forecast them in a more proactive way and take sustainable measures to survive. So the key, when we are going to have this kind of a focus, what are the key trends that will include in that is that integrating the 21st century skills with many of our eminent speakers have mentioned before, critical thinking and collaboration, promoting lifelong learning opportunities for all. When we have to do it, what we need to do, we have to strengthen the foundation skills via tools, etc., 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 which are available, which are there in the Global Education Policy as GEPD, that is globally known as enabling international mobility for students and refugees through credential evaluation. So data is also important in that way. So the key trends which are going in that flow is that the resilience and responsiveness, where policies are being re-engineered, reimagined to be both flexible during any kind of disruptions which come and which are aligned to the changing economic needs which are there according to the different districts and the countries and the nations. So, but the fundamental skill focus helps the governments to measure and improve the literacy percentage, numeracy percentage, and the social emotional percentage, and advise on all the interventions and recommendations wherever it is required as policies and procedures which are to be integrated and incorporated into. So, what will it finally give a picture of global citizenship with inclusion into the fold, such that these education systems increasingly emphasis on nurturing global citizens, respecting diversity and providing equitable access, which is very important as some of the countries do not have internet or they are deprived of all the percentage that we have been discussed, and so many not school-going children are there, but still to provide them equitable access for a lifelong learning, such that the learning doesn't stop with the four walls of the classroom or the curriculum, but beyond that, having life skills and the social emotional skills and also the digital skills which will help them, which will prepare them for the 4.0. With the digital transformation being in accord, and this is what is that, and this is what it is called as international mobility, which is called as, which is the World Education Policy, support the integration of the international educated professionals by evaluating the credentials and adding the workforce inclusion. So with that, we have come up, IIU, institutions like IIU, come up with the World Education Policy, which is otherwise called as New Education Policy, which is focuses on fostering creativity, critical thinking, and also the holistic development of the child. As Dr. Virginia was mentioning, it is not exactly academics are they talking. We are not talking about the rote learning. We are not talking about, we are there to inspire the learning process in every child, with no child is left behind, no one is left behind, creating them as innovative leaders of tomorrow who will take the responsibility of their own learning with the personalized learning care and support, where we educationists, our role of the educationists are more like facilitators. We just facilitate the environment. We just give them all kind of support. We just try to give whatever possible from our side without jeopardizing the situation or without going on with very big high funder roles and requirements. But this will prioritize value-based education with adaptability and skill acquisition to prepare the students for tomorrow. So this kind of education is the goal of education, not to increase definitely the amount of knowledge, but to create the possibilities for every child to invent and discover and to create whatever they are capable of doing, they will be able to do it. So that's what is the whole education policy is about. And when we talk about the GEM report, which is actually the core area, which I requested Dr. Virginia to come in the last. So this Global Education Monitoring Report, that is otherwise called as GEM report, which has its policy or the rationale as access and equitability with a countdown to 2030. I think Dr. Bano also, she was mentioning it before. And the key areas which they are going to work on is the out-of-school crisis As Dr. Virginia has already mentioned, 273 million youth remain out of school. And this should not continue. And this is what they are going to work on, mainly with the equitable cap and the completion rates, etc., with the funding stagnation. There's so many threats which are involved in it, which contribute to that, where the core recommendations are going to be national ownership, means the country will have a specified education policy. That is, the country might have different states and districts, but the country will have one education policy, that is otherwise called as national education policy, with equitable financing and monitoring policies, and which are not just outputs, which are not just reports, but recommendations to improve further along that. So on that note, please allow me to share for my screen. Dr. Virginia, can I go ahead? Yes.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Yes, yes.
So, yeah.
We all want a better education, but there is no one single way to get there. The Global Education Monitoring Report Countdown to 2030 series reminds us that reaching SDG 4 isn't about one solution. It's about many. We all make the first step forward, but then what? Education isn't linear. Journeys will differ, shaped by place and circumstance. A shared vision and ambition are essential, but progress depends on country-driven targets and solutions. Before taking that first step, though, there are 3 questions every country must answer. Who is accessing education? What are they learning? And why? When countries define their own targets in this way, progress becomes verifiable. And when solutions are country-led, it turns ambition into action. When those targets create a virtuous circle, progress will last. When students are granted opportunities and feel treated equally, they enroll and stay. When teachers are backed and their classrooms are well attended, learning grows. When education connects and sparks interaction, it creates engagement. In a world of splintered information and shrinking attention, education must be the bridge, not just to knowledge, but to coexistence. When education has purpose, it doesn't just fill seats. It ignites voices. It makes questions matter. Starting points to this vision differ, and sometimes the goalposts move. Your story counts. Costs, cultures, climate, conflict, COVID, poverty, prejudice, politics. Any one of them can stand in the way. The clock is ticking. 2030 is on the horizon. That's why we must bring rhetoric back to reality. Remember that what works for you may not work for someone else. A solution will fail in the future if it ignores history. The task? Keep up the ambition, but be humble enough to listen. Monitor, don't prescribe nor generalize. Enhance accountability, ownership, trust, and transparency. Don't just judge the destination. Support the journey and learn from it. Access for all, learning that transforms, education that matters. These don't just achieve one goal. They unlock them all, for every country in their own way.
So if this is what we need to share, if we are talking about, should I go ahead with my presentation? Do I have time, Dr. Virginia? It will take another 10 minutes. Should I go ahead with my presentation?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Virginia, ma'am?
Okay. So when we start here, what we have seen in this 20 years of GEM report, that is monitoring world progress in education. It all started from the year 2002 to 2015, which is called as Education for All era. That is otherwise called as EFA era. Okay. So moving from there, it was the birth of GMR, that is Global Monitoring Report, which was established in the year 2000 to track the 6 specific global education goals. And the mandated editorial independence was given to UNESCO, only UNESCO, to ensure credibility. So the top publishers were only UNESCO, World Bank, and EFA GMR with the self-references. That means people can contribute to it. With the rapid growing network of 2002 to 2015, this report had about 6,800 authors who were contributing to it, like each one of us that we are trying to do so today. So from 2016 to present, it has been focusing on the monitoring the SDGs, especially with SDG 4, with its 10 targets. That's targets which are being involved in it, with 2 million global downloads, and also addressing the COVID-19 gap, which is still not being met with, because 2030 is not quite far, but we are still towards it. We are just in the emerging stage. So the architecture of accountability coming with the dissecting 20 years of the Global Education Monitoring Report as for global public good. That means very simple, as we are talking today, education for all and no child should be deprived of it. This global public good is the main slogan for global public good is no child should be deprived of it. That's the right to education. That was the whole structure was it to be. And from 1946 to 1980, it was focusing on technical assistance, because those days it was we know that there was no radio, there was no TV, internet was out of question, and computer was a desktop feature. So from 1946 to 1980, they were focusing only on the technical assistance. Then came the evolution. From 1990, with the World Bank and everything, they will start pulling up people into this, and such that from 1990 to data to till date, what it has evolved into, from the state of nowhere, now it has become a threat to the society with all the data, and data handling has become a biggest threat in the society. So what comes into vogue is that the governance and autonomy of the institutional hardware, how to have, because so many independent teams are handling this, and so many people are involved in this advisory board, and the independent teams are contributing to it. The advisory board or reviving it, or like validating it from UNESCO to not by UNESCO. So the final paradox is, though it is from UNESCO, it is actually not from UNESCO, because these people are contributing to it. So every country has its own structure, has its own policies, and they are contributing. They are looking at it from their perspective, and they are contributing to it. But UNESCO has become the only host, considering all the countries which are involved in this process. So the mandate shift has become two distinct eras of monitoring, that is EFA era to SDG 4 era. That is education for all. From that, it's global monitoring report. Now it is global education monitoring report, that it has become a global education policy, such that we have started working on to it. Earlier it was with Dhaka goals, but now it is for SDG 4 goals, with the common endpoints evaluated from set global frame. Now it has moved from national determined benchmarks, accessing progress based on the district and historic starting points, because each one want to contribute. With these rights are linear tracking, it has become navigating massive missing data and unprecedented reliance across cross-sector integration. So with the thematic evaluation of 20 years of shaping this global agenda, gender and education taken into consideration, the quality imperative has taken into consideration, reaching the marginalized has become one of the target, accountability in education has become another target. Now with the non-state sectors are also become that. So moving ahead from 18-month productive engine, from phase 1, its inception, then knowledge gathering, phase 2 was knowledge gathering, synthesis and drafting was another, output diversification with the global distribution. This has become a final product of this. With the final ecosystem, with the cost of independence, many countries have contributed to it according to their own democracy and according to their own policy, where the network expansion has become an epistemic community, thereby having a democratization shift. That is, the dominance of the major institutions being pertained only with those people who are generating the reports, though the countries are being monitoring, are being contributing to it. So from all these things, let me go a little further, because the very important thing which is coming is here. So when we have the structural vulnerabilities, with the methodological constraints, with the geographical representation, with the ideological divide, because each one decides in their own way according to that perspective, the COVID has added more ghee into the fire, such that the disruption has happened, the financial squeeze has happened with the rapid response. Now people have started thinking about how to handle all these maths or the targets or the threats which are being coming up with the global public trilemma, with the editorial independence, with the geographical relevance, with the financial stability. The synthesis insight have given the two notes, that is navigating from 2030 headwinds. So the ultimate value of the GEN report is the dual capacity, that we all should work together according to our own capacity to achieve this. So from schooling to learning, exactly, with the SDG 4 blueprint to achieve equitable, inclusive, education and creating lifelong opportunities for all, where the schools have expanded massively, but the learning has flatlined. Because the schools have increased, but the curriculum which was created years and years before has been continued. And many of the countries are not able to have access of it because of no schools. And it has not evolved further. So what happened? The anatomy of learning poverty has come into being with the combined measure of schooling and learning deprivation. So learning deprivation with the share of the children in school failing to read with a minimum proficiency has come with the end of primary education. And the share of primary aged education entirely out of school has become the biggest threat or the biggest question which has to be answered with the global reality that these two streams combine to trap 53% of the children in the lower and the middle income countries, staggering to 90% of the low income countries in learning poverty. So COVID-19 has catalyzed to this existing crisis to a generational catastrophe, with the system shock of students interrupted globally with 1.6 billion, with the extreme closures of school closures endured, etc., with 83 weeks, and poverty spike with the 70% of the learning poverty, with the economic hemorrhage of $21 trillion has been projected. So if we do this, new paradigm shift is required from mere access to lifelong equality. So what could be done? What we need to focus is the primary education. No child should be deprived of it, and the school providing, the education provider need not be a school, need not be a structured infrastructure. It could be even a simple place where people can just collect and learn something. That is what IIU is doing it today with the James International School. And let me come back to it later and let me highlight it later. So this is what it is more aligned. What IIU is doing with the James International School is definitely aligned to this lifelong learning quality with the basic education for children, youth, and adults, with the global South law income focus, intended, universal, practical, and this is making education available for all, accessible for all. That means children from any economic background, they can learn. Anybody who is not able to learn, even with whatever disorders they have, the learning disorder or the psychological disorder, they are able to learn and they are given access to learning, and the access and the completion is policy is possible with this quality education. With these three universals underpinning the education 2020, with the universality of the principles which are involved, now you can understand why is it called as the fundamental human right and the public good. That is linked to gender equality, definitely, with the boys and girls, definitely, with the universality of reach, with the relentless focus on equity and education. No one is left behind, regardless of the background and disability. With the universality of coverage, the global shared agenda, relevant to all societies moving beyond the global south to demand sustainability and across all income levels. So, what is actually level is the means of implementation and targets, which are with the SDG 4, that is 4ABC, that we know, with the foundation level. And target with the core foundations at target 2 and target 4. With the level 3, the superstructure, with the creating lifelong learning opportunities means relating education to the job opportunities, with the equity and the inclusion with the targets 4.5 and 4.7 as a capstone. So SDG 4 compromises of the targets which are being implemented, designed not as a checklist, but the independent extra system which is being there, with the core foundations of the unfinished basic education agenda, that is the basic education for the early years with the lifelong relevance, aligning education to the world of work, with Tibet education and also the relevant skills and adult literacy, with the equity and the global partnership with the qualitative imperative which is being there, that is eliminating gender disparities and targeted action of the vulnerable populations and the countries which are there, ensuring the learners acquire the skills to promote culture of peace, human rights, and the global citizenship with the appreciation of the cultural diversity. So this is what is the whole thing, and it is taking further with creating environments, creating scholarships, and also creating teachers, quality teachers which are being there with the systemic blueprint of averting learning catastrophe, saving our future action areas of teaching education workforce as frontline workers, focus edX. Specifically, EDEC means education for technology, as specifically were proven equitable, protect education budgets and target the marginalized, mobilize international resources and coordinate evidence generation. With the translation of global commitments to national realities, we are going to transform the education with inclusive policy dialogue, legislative adjustments, and targeted equalities with the intermediate benchmarks which are being attained as global 30 global goals. With the outcome based to cure the accountability deficit, national governments must establish intermediate contextualized benchmarks. Systems must shift from input-based proxies to flexible, fair assessments of actual learning outcomes and skills acquisition. So with this, we will be able to achieve the education that is enabling right for a sustainable future with Education 2030 agenda. Thank you so much. And thank you, Dr. Virginia. I think I've taken a bit longer. I'm very sorry to say that. Now relating it to IIU, it's my duty to relate it to IIU, definitely. And I really want to highlight on James International School, how this is being connected, how the global education policy is connected to global James Education Schools. And we are now at this time of the world standing at a very critical turning point that our voices should be heard. And we are not here as simply speakers in space, but we are here, our role, as Dr. Piyush Pandit has mentioned, architects of the future of the generation. So on that note, definitely, we know that our presence affirms a very powerful truth here, that which will not be built in isolation, but it can be built only through collaboration. As we come together on this global stage, we share boldly and lead authentically and contribute to a conversation that extends go far and beyond. As we all know, IIU has been focusing on providing skill-based education, founded with a virtual learning model, with the global reach and the courses which are being offered. If you want to allow me to mention some of the courses which are focusing on the skill-based training areas in business development, marketing and education and journalism, with the special programs like junior MBA and honorary doctorates, etc. And definitely, this has paved a way for all those children who are studying in the James International School, a very consolidated future, such that preparing them for the future skills and also to have an exposure with the corporates and also the community. They are not only studying, they are always contributing towards the community. Whatever they are doing, if you can just see the posts and that we can see in Facebook, there are gardening classes, they are being taken for adventures, they are being taken to different areas where they are able to teach, they are able to communicate with people. So this process of taking the education with the realities of life, taking education, relating education to life is what IIU is doing, not only as an university, but also the James International. So it's high time we should all take an oath, as today we are talking about the World Education Policy, to contribute to IIU and its for all its initiatives and its rationale to take it forward, such that the meaningful 3 hours that we have spent on this platform is really met with. As I always say, coming together is only beginning. Staying together is process and working together is success. We all should work with our heart, mind and soul towards the growth of IIU, and for all its projects, we all should extend any kind of support that is required, that is being looking for.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you
So much.
Thank you, Dr. Srividhya.
Thank you, Dr. Virginia. Thank you so much.
Thank you. You know, before we end, and I want to thank you for such a complete presentation to finish our day today. And I want to say you can all join World Education Policy. Please find us online. We're worldeducationpolicy.com. You can join and be part of our global leadership. Right now, we really need directors. We need CEOs in your areas. So right now, at this moment, you are at the pinnacle of what we need in order to move forward this SDG 4. As we come to a close, let us be clear about one thing. Dr. Srividhya, can I ask you to see if you can finish your present? I think you're still on sharing mode. Look and see if you can unshare. So as we come close to finishing this long time, still today, 1 in 6 children worldwide are still out of school. And millions more will never complete their education again. They won't. The UNESCO Global Education Monitoring Report, which we just saw with Dr. Srividhya, continues to remind us we are not moving fast enough. In some regions, progress is not only slowing, it is reversing. We just saw this. This is not just an education issue. This is a global development issue, and it involves all of us. And it means that we must move from conversations and conferences to accelerated action. It's really wonderful to visit a country and go to a conference and watch the speakers and be a speaker, and then go home and things stay the same. So today I invite you all to move from this and actually start to create accelerated action. And one way is joining World Education Policy. Education is not just about access. We know that's been established. 270 million children do not have access. It's about completion. If we start it, we end it. Equity is real. We don't all arrive from the same place, but we all need a real opportunity everywhere. Not only those that can, but all of us should. At World Education Policy, one mission is clear: to build one unified education system that is accessible to all, so that no student, no community, and no country is left behind. I think that what's more important than this is to build systems that make this possible. I can say this, and it sounds really great, but if we're not creating the systems that it needs, it just stays in words. And this is not theoretical. This is already happening. Through Maquila Udiami, for example, something that I know very well, we're ensuring that girls and women are not excluded from education. We're also making sure that economic opportunity is at their doorway by building pathways for skills, leadership, and financial independence. Through James International School, any village, as Dr. Srividhya just said, we're proving that quality education can reach rural communities. They're not that remote. We all have access and we can all make it there. Where children who once had no access are now learning, growing, and preparing to lead. So you see, we can all participate from where we're standing. And through IIU, the International Internship University, we have opened education beyond borders, connecting learners across nations and continents. You see, the work is being done, but the support has to be there for us to continue to do it. This is what it means to move from vision to system. Advocate Piyush Pandit understood this. He was able to move on his own 195 countries to join. Now it's up to those 195 countries to do what they're supposed to do. Make sure that every country represented in the United Nations has promised and guaranteed that every student has access to education. We've been talking about this for how long? We're in 2026, and instead of progressing, we're reversing. We're not doing something right, but we're all here and we all want to. So let's harness all this power and let's do something together. As we look forward to SDG 4, quality education for all, we must be honest. At the current pace, we will not get there. But if we all unite, we will. So this is our moment. This is the summit that you have to put inside your head and say, I am going to be part of the change. I'm just not going to go because Virginia asked me to be a speaker. I am going to do from where I stand what I can. And I'm going to speak to my neighbor and my friend and the leader that I know that is in another community so we can work together. It must become alignment, and it must become collaboration, and it must become. In my role as president of World Education Policy, I don't take it lightly. I am working every day evaluating policies that work, but most importantly, policies that don't work. Because we're wasting resources on policies that are not working for the people and for the students. I see every day what it is possible, and I see every day frustrated educators because they're trying and they don't have the support. When education is no longer limited by geography or opportunity, and is no longer defined by circumstance, we will change. So my deepest gratitude always goes to Advocate Piyush Pandit for his vision, his leadership, and his trust. For believing that I could handle this, for believing that you could handle this, for building platforms that connect us all, to make global collaboration a real reality. Not just this, but actual results. To all of our speakers, partners, and participants, thank you for your voice, your leadership, your expertise, but most importantly, I know you're committed. I know it. You've waited 3 hours to speak because the future of education will not be defined by what we said today. It will be defined by what comes next. So I'm asking all of you, let's move forward with urgency, with collaboration, and with purpose. Bother me, write to me, tell me what you want to do. I will do everything that I know and everybody that I know to make it happen. And I know that every single one of you, so many contacts, so many connections, we can make this happen because collaboration is not optional anymore. It is essential. And when education is supported by the right systems, it has the power to transform lives. We just don't say it, we will see it. And I can't wait to see a world where everybody has access. I hope that I am here to see it, but if not,